Good morning. This is Miss Tang here. All right, this week for comprehension, we are going to learn to identify the main idea. So, the reason why we are identifying the main idea and the reason why this is a really important skill is because we are working on writing informative texts. So, that's texts where we will need to look for and research some information, and then we will need to use our comprehension skills to identify what is the main idea of this text and what can I use to put into my own report. Okay, because one thing that we don't want to be doing is looking at research and looking at some facts and copying and pasting that into our reports, because that is something that we won't be doing because that's actually called plagiarism. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice identifying the main idea, and I know that you've practiced a little bit in writing, but we're going to do a little bit more so that we can practice this skill and we can use this while we are writing our informative texts for this term. Okay, so one thing that will help us with that is by using our criteria. So to find the main idea, the one thing that we need to do is find out what is the most important point of that piece of text. Okay, and then you are going to pull out what are the details or what are the key points that are trying to support the main idea. So we're going to be practicing that this week. All right, so as we were saying, the main idea is the most important point. So you need to be thinking about what is the author trying to say about this topic, about this subject. What are they trying to say? And then you need to think about what are the key points that support that idea. And to do this, you can do a few things. For example, you can have a look at the title and then look at any pictures, if there are some, for any clues. And then while you're reading, have a think about and try to pick out what the important information is. What is the author trying to tell you? Another thing you can do is to look for repeated words that they keep repeating over and over again in the text because they're trying to tell you something. You can also have a look at any pictures that might have been repeated or information or any themes or ideas as well. And then you can have a think and ask yourself, what is the text mostly about? Okay. All right, for this week, this is going to be your task. So you're going to read a piece of text and then you're going to answer some questions, okay? So the first question is, what is the main idea of this text? So you'll be reading the piece of text on slip, slop, slap, and then you are going to try to figure out what is the main thing they are trying to tell you. And then number two, what are 3 details that support that main idea? What are 3 things that they're trying to say in here that support what the main topic or the most important information that you're trying to get from here? Okay, and then you are going to underline any words that have been repeated or seem really important. That's a really important skill to have, especially when you're researching and you're finding all these information and then you're trying to put it into your writing. You'll need to be able to pick out what's the most important thing, what are some words that have been repeated, what can you use, okay? And make sure that you write it down. You can either print the worksheet out or you can also write it down in a notebook as well, okay? So either one is fine. And then see if you can find what another title of this text could be. And if you would like to, then you can also do this crazy creative challenge as well. Okay, so that's there. So this is the task that we're going to do this week. If you do find this a little bit challenging, then I have included, so I've put this as a level 2, okay? If you do find this a little bit challenging, it's okay. That's fine, okay? There is another task that you can do. You could do first and then you can work up to this. So if that level 2 one is a little bit challenging, this is a level 1 activity that you can do first. Okay, so this is matching the main ID. So all you have to do is, if you're printing it, then you just cut out the paragraphs and then match it up to the main ID. So whichever one it's trying to tell you. Okay, you will need to read the paragraphs first and then decide what is the main idea that they're trying to say. What are they trying to tell you? Okay, and then match it up. Or what you can do is, on a piece of paper, you can just match it up. So you can number them 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can match up the main ID. Okay, so that's one way or two ways that you can do it. If you feel like this level 2 activity, you've already done it, so make sure you do this first, and you feel like you need a challenge or an extension, okay, then you can do the level 3 extension task, and this is what it looks like. So you'll have a read of this text, and then you'll answer these questions. So it says, read the title of the text, look at the border around the text, using these clues, what's the main idea? And then you're going to write it in. Okay, and then you are going to look at every paragraph, and then you will find and try to pick out some words that have been repeated or you think that might be important, and then you'll write them in each box. After you do that, you're going to look at the words that you wrote down on your table, so here, and then you're going to identify what the main idea is for each of the paragraphs, and then you just write it down. You can either print this out or you can just write it down in a notebook, that's fine. All right, and then number 4, which of the following could be used for a title? Which of these could be included as a paragraph in this text? So have a read and then pick one. And then number 6, what other main ideas could you include in this text about thunderstorms? And then you list some of your ideas. Okay, all right, so that is the level 3 extension. So make sure that you do this task first. And if you feel like it's a little bit challenging, go and do the level 1 first. If you feel like you want a challenge or an extension, then go and do the level 3 extension task. All right, good luck, have fun, see you.